Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you have done it once again. You've clicked the record button on yet another...
Kevin, another amusing episode of V8 Radio.
Amusing, all right. I like to be amused.
As do I.
I even know what that means.
Right on. That's why I picked it.
I'm not sure the show is amusing, but we'll find out. You've chosen to tune into an amusing episode of the V8 Radio podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Oeste, joined as always by our esteemed co-host, Mr. Mike Q-Ball Clark. What's happening?
Not much is happening, to be honest with you. Just kind of doing my thing and plugging away.
Doing your thing and plugging away.
That's right. Are you amused?
Yeah. I mean, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like, when you're on the phone, back in the dating days, when you're on the phone with somebody you're not that interested in.
Not at all. Not at all.
And they're like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah, just kind of doing my thing, plugging away,
And nothing.
All right.
All right. We're off to a great start, ladies and gentlemen.
Completely nondescript. What are you doing? All right. Well, maybe we can pour some coals to this fire by launching into our V8 Radio Automotive Trivia competition that we have. Of course, being a loyal listener, you know we do this all the time. And we launch our question at the beginning of the show and then answer it at the end. And this way, you got a reward for tuning in the whole time, right?
Correctamundo.
Do you, in fact, have a trivia question, Mr. Q?
Absolutely. Here we go. All right, Kevin and listener, the Zimmer Quicksilver was a personal luxury car built by the Zimmer Motors Corporation that was based on an already established vehicle. What was that vehicle?
That vehicle, the Zimmer Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting car. Not a horrible looking car.
You think?
Well, I mean, from what I understand, there was some kind of German connection there?
I don't know. Maybe besides the name, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the Zimmer was, yes, a personal luxury coupe, and or just kind of a personal coupe anyway.
Right.
That was a custom-built vehicle that was based on a GM product of the time that you could buy at your local dealership, right? You could buy these at the parent brand dealership. I don't think Zimmer had their own dealers.
I don't think they did either. Yeah, I think they were bought through a different dealer chain.
The car that they dolled up was, of course, a Pontiac Fiero.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, if you took a Pontiac Fiero, and I think they added about 11 or 12 inches to the nose, and really put an extended schnorkus on the front of the thing.
Now that is an overselling adjective.
And then they went ahead and I think they also added a neoclassic styling element to the tail end in the form of a pseudo spare tire hump, a la the Continental style. It wasn't like an individual spare tire like a Continental kit tucked behind a bumper. It was just a bulge, also known in the Chrysler and Lincoln world as a toilet seat.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
But inside, I don't know how much they changed. And, it was an interesting, if I'm right, it's an interesting concept because the Fiero had a lot of innovations like the space frame and the ability to pop off the plastic body panels and pop on some longer ones, apparently, and I think that's what they did. So that's my final answer, is it is a Pontiac
All
Fiero.
right. Final answer. Duly noted, sir, and we'll find out at the end of the show.
Duly noted, Mr. Q. Duly noted.
Nice.
Industry guy, my ass.
You've been working with someone?
Yeah, you know. It's called internet boredom.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Oh, man.
Welcome to another splendiferous episode of the V8 Radio Podcast. We hope you brought something to do while you're here, because these guys blow.
Nice. Jesus. I think I'm about to get fired. This guy's great.
He's really good, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Someone has been bored behind the keyboard.
Yeah. All right. Well, I also have prepared a trivia question.
Okay.
This is an easy one.
Says you.
Well, it's an easy one to read, is what I meant.
Oh, that, sure.
Okay, here we go. When was the first steering wheel installed on a car? And the bonus, what car and country?
Ooh. All right, so looking back at our automotive history, the very first cars just had kind of a stick coming through the floor that was connected to a steering linkage that would steer you around. There was no steering wheel per se. I'm gonna say, well, this kind of takes me back a little bit to the trivia question we had regarding when was the steering wheel first put on the left side.
I think it had to go on a car before they put it on the left.
Yes, yeah, indeed. So, and that was a Henry Ford thing that everybody adopted, and I believe that was, it was in the 20s, I thought, that became adopted across the United States. So I'm going to say the first steering wheel appeared on the 1910 Pierce Arrow.
Ooh. Nice.
Yes, from the United States.
From the good old U.S. of A.
U.S. of A.
All right. Is that your final answer?
You know what the man's about to say.
Duly noted, Mr. Q. Duly noted.
Oh, that is so great.
Okay, we'll find out at the end of the show.
All right.
The answer to these riveting questions and so much more. All for the same price. So,
and worth it.
Yes. I do have to say that we're starting this recording session here today with all the best of intentions, but I'm in my garage, which is wonderful. We got some springtime weather finally. However, there's also a tornado watch going on. So any moment it's going to start raining very hard and we might lose all connection. So
fantastic. I can't wait.
Yeah, end up in Kansas or something. We'll find out.
Yeah, let's hope it holds out.
Yes, because I'm celebrating a little triumph today.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah. Well, I just got back from the inaugural season drive of my 62 Ford Galaxie.
Hey, right on, man.
Yeah. So I completed some upgrades and fixes, kind of alluded to them last time, and got the whole schmear back together and took it for a ride, and I think I solved some of my problems.
Well, good deal.
Yes. So real quick, it was some basic tune-up stuff, cap, rotor, plug wires. I put a brand new set of MSD superconductor 8mm wires on it, or 8.5, whatever they are. And realizing that the previous set were installed in 1999.
Well, I mean, they're still fresh. I don't know why you changed them.
Or 2000. So 26 years on a set of plug wires isn't bad.
Not bad, yeah.
Especially because
from the 1900s.
Yeah, right. And I didn't have a failure either. It was just time, Mm-hmm. And I kept them, so I'm gonna ohm them out and see over time if they've increased in resistance, and also kind of flop them around to see, like, is there a crackly connectivity issue inside them? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with them. But the new ones are black, the old ones are red. I wanted to change that too, so did that. Threw a new set of NGK spark plugs in it, and added, changed out the pair of oxygen sensors, which were also from 2000.
Oh, right, that's right.
And I realized that I actually remembered that at one point I had one of the O2 sensor connectors get a little close to the exhaust and kind of melted a little bit. So I changed that pigtail, and then took the. So this is a 351 Windsor Ford motor with some of the emissions equipment that come on a 5.0 style from the 90s. So it's got an EGR valve. So I took the EGR valve apart, cleaned it all out. I cleaned the intake manifold out. There was an accumulation of soot and oil in the intake.
Sure.
And the way these systems work on these cars anyway, the oil fill tube on the valve cover has a hose, a hard, rigid hose that goes right into the throttle body, and there's where your PCV vapors go to be reintroduced into the system and burned.
Sure.
But interestingly, this intake manifold, it's an Edelbrock intake, and it's just, if you're familiar with these things, the throttle body's on the passenger side of the car, and there's a straight shot that goes in across to the driver's side, to which there's a common air box, and then the air goes towards the center of the car, down the individual runners, and then into the lower intake where it splits and goes to the driver's side bank or the passenger side bank. So I think if you took a tape measure and went from the throttle body opening all the and traced the whole path, it's got to be 2.5 feet long.
Wow.
2 feet long.
That's quite a journey.
It's a long ram, and but what I found is that oil vapor coming out of the PCV would condense inside this aluminum manifold because the manifold's cool. And it would actually puddle up on the one side of the manifold. So I installed a catch can coming out of that PCV, an aluminum catch can to capture that vapor.
Okay.
So
cool.
So that's cool. And then I had some bad wires that over time, when we built this car, the current generation, the forward harness was still original. The engine harness is all new, but some of the forward harness things are completely shot at this point.
Oh boy.
And very crispy. You bend the wire and it just cracks. And I have a whole American Auto Wire classic update wiring harness to go in this.
Right.
And I think that might be this coming winter's project.
Okay.
So I just kind of fixed a few things to get that all together, and
because putting that kit in, that's kind of a commitment to get all that in there, isn't it? I mean, you're going to have to gut the interior out and really go through everything and run every wire, and it'll be great when it's done. But it's definitely not something you want to start tackling when you want to start driving this car.
That's kind of the big thing is, again, the weather's starting to get nicer here, and I really, one of the things that really brings me joy is driving this car now.
Well, sure.
So
it's a cool car. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. So the other part of the American Auto Wire harness is that I'm kind of planning on other things to go in the car, gauge-wise, audio system, and all that stuff's not ready to go at this moment, but maybe by the end of the year it will be. So then it'll be just, like you're saying, front to back, end to end,
do it all.
LED lighting and audio, and maybe a power window upgrade, and a whole bunch of stuff. So for now, let's just make it safe. So did all that, and then kind of put the whole thing back together again last night, and I had my battery on a trickle charger and reinstalled that and got it all fired up, and I had my everything installed, and I had my fire extinguisher next to me, and trying to be responsible, and of course turn the key and get absolutely nothing.
Oh man.
And I was like, really? And fortunately, I was smart enough to take a whole bunch of photographs before I took this apart, because it's been a couple of months. It's been 2.5 months, 3 months since I started taking this thing apart. And I don't have time to start and go to finish. So it's been like 15 minutes here and 10 minutes there.
Sure.
So scrutinizing the photographs, and it's like, yeah, I don't really know what changed. And it was acting like maybe a major fusible link had blown or something, like no headlights, no ignition power, like nothing. So I went to bed and slept on it, and derived a few tests to kind of check and see, and I measured power at the starter solenoid. Everything in front of the firewall had power, but the actual action of turning the key gave you nothing. And fortunately, I thought, what's my least invasive way to start diagnosing this? Before you just start tearing things apart and going back in everything.
Right.
And you recall a couple of years ago, maybe last year, 2 years ago, I fixed the horn.
That's right.
And the horn on this car it's actual an air horn with a compressor and all that stuff. And the horn operates independently of the key. So I was getting great voltage under the hood at the battery and all that. I hit the horn and it goes, well. Instead of the triumphant trumpeting that it should be resounding across the countryside. So it sounded like it didn't have enough power. And so I took the battery cables off and kind of cleaned up the terminals and reconnected that, threw the key in it, and it lit right off. It started up right away.
Hey, right on.
So again, another thing that you don't want to overlook is those simple things, corrosion on battery cable terminals, and it'll get you.
They can do it. It will.
So
especially if there's even a hairline crack on the terminal that you can't really see, but it's not tightening up properly.
Yes.
That'll cause you a lot of grief as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I was able to. I also did an oil change and a filter change, and I got a fuel filter, and So I fired it up, and the cool thing with this EFI system, it's a Ford E4 computer from the 80s, basically. So it's way out of date, but still works great, and it forgets all of its tuning refinements if you disconnect power for a couple days.
Oh boy,
that's good though. You need to do that every once in a while.
Okay.
Because it can't do much, but it adjusts the fuel trims, based on certain things. So gave that a clear shot, and I still have this device on here called the Tweaker, which is a tuning device for that style, which is actually still made, interestingly enough. And I have a 4 or a 5 position dial. I can pick which tune I want, which calibration. So I resurrected my Windows NT or XE. What was it? XT? What was the
XP?
XP. Yes, my Windows XP laptop that's still running that software.
That's awesome. I love Windows XP. It's my favorite operating system.
Yeah, it was easy. It was nice and reliable. So verified that calibration was the same, and made sure that my EGR settings were what I wanted, and lit it off, and it runs great. And it's I need to drive it around a little bit to have those fuel trims relearn and kind of come back. But one of the other things that I actually solved the problem doing all this, which was good. And that is this car and a lot of Ford products, I'm sure others do it too, but it's pretty well known in like the Mustang world. They develop a whistle on throttle tip-in if you put an aftermarket throttle body on.
Really?
Yeah, and it's kind of annoying, because you're cruising down the road, you give a little gas, and it's like, and it's like, I don't want to hear that,
That's weird. What causes that?
Well, that was the thing, and I started to do some research on it, and there was a whole bunch of dead-end videos and information, but what the fix is inside that throttle body. It's a billet machine. This one is a BBK 75 millimeter or whatever the heck. And there are ports in the throttle body, one being like where that PCV oil vapor gets re-entered into the airstream.
Right.
So when they manufacture these, it's done on a 5-axis CNC machine, and they just bore a hole in the side of it. Well, those holes, there's several of them, one for an EGR, one for the idle air control motor, one for that PCV. They have rough edges, like it's just a straight cut into the tube.
Oh, I see.
And
okay.
And if you chamfer all those, if you take this apart to a degree and take an air die grinder or a Dremel or whatever you got and round off all those edges, you reduce that turbulence around those holes. And sure enough, it works.
Really? Well, look at you.
Yeah, and it's not gone completely, but it is so dramatically reduced that I'm happy with that. So that was a success.
Well,
yeah.
So do you think, just kind of remembering back to your last season to this drive, does it feel like it's running any smoother or better or has better acceleration or better power?
I don't know yet. I only drove it like down the road and back. I just wanted to make sure nothing was leaking, and I wanted to listen to that throttle whistle. And it's still on last fall's fuel, but I added stable to it, so the fuel, it started first click,
Sure.
on half a crank, so I wasn't really worried about that. The test is going to be, one of the reasons why I did this is because my fuel economy had been tanking over time.
Right.
And when we first built this car, I was getting like 20, 21 to the gallon on the highway, and now I'm down to like 14. So, and nothing really changed outside of time and wear. So I'm kind of hoping that the O2s and the tune-up parts and those things are going to help bring that economy back around.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to turn out. I'm hoping that maybe it'll even be better, which would be fantastic.
I mean, that would be great. There is one major variable. When we first built the car, it had a Ford AOD transmission, which is a mechanical overdrive 4-speed, meaning no electronic controller. And the AOD, you could only adjust the shift points and the overdrive engagement through hard parts, throttle body modifications, take it apart, that kind of stuff. Valve body. So we ditched that in favor of a 4R70W, which is also known as an AODE, but a wide ratio AODE, and that has an electronic controller. And so now I can, with the laptop, my Windows XP machine, I can change the, tune the transmission the way I want, engage and disengage overdrive and all that stuff, lockup converter. But I think the AODE takes more oats to spin than the AOD.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that can cause a reduction in economy.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the AOD, one of the things I did not like about it, in addition to the lack of tunability, was the fact that when overdrive engaged, it locked. It literally, like, there's a shaft that locks the crank to the input shaft in the transmission, and there is zero slippage, which sounds wonderful, but it's like clunk. It was like you could feel it. And
I see.
The AOD came out in the late 70s, I believe. And if you remember cars, Ford cars that had a sticker in the side window in the back that said automatic overdrive, that's what that was. And those cars had an entirely different transmission mounting structure than what I have in this thing. So they had a softer mount and cushions and stuff, so that when AOD transmissions engaged. Plus, they were also not built the same way as the one I had. Mine was designed to have a slightly firmer shift, a little more performance.
Sure.
So that coupled with a more rigid mounting structure and a full frame car like this Galaxie, and it was like boom, and it felt like something wasn't right. So the E variant, the electronic one, you can adjust how hard that engages and not, and whatever.
Yeah, you can kind of ease it in there, right?
Yeah, so I think, I don't know, that could be a culprit of a little bit of the fuel economy. But hopefully, we'll see. So the only way to know is to drive it, run some tanks of gas through it, and see what we got.
Well, you'll have to figure that out when we do our little cross-country cruise, whenever I get my GTO back on the road.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll drive the Suburban.
Well, got to drive something.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, well that's cool. I'm glad you got that accomplished, and you got a few miles under your belt this year on your Galaxie. That's great news.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It was kind of driving me crazy having the car apart, and you know how that is, and we all know how that is.
Yep.
But I surmised that what I was doing wasn't going to be a very long project, and like all things car related, it takes longer for all the reasons. And so, here we are. So it was funny because some of the frustrations we have at V8 Speed and Resto in the shop, I was 100% victim to or the cause of myself. So I had these MSD spark plug wires sitting on the shelf for a couple of years, waiting for this opportunity to do this. And it wasn't until I started doing it that I realized they were the wrong ones.
Ah, brother.
There were 351 Cleveland instead of Windsor spark plug wires, and they're vastly different.
Really?
Yeah. Well, the big one is, again, everything under the hood on my 62 Ford is basically 90s Mustang, early, 80s,
right,
early 90s Mustang. And the architecture, the design of those had the ignition coil mounted on the driver inner fender. So the coil wire is like 2 feet long.
Oh, okay.
And I have the same setup. And the Cleveland, the coil's mounted on the intake manifold, so it's a 10-inch long coil wire. So that was the first thing. I was like, rats, And the rest are fairly tailored for this engine, so I wanted to.
I see.
Not as clean as if I would have made them. Normally I like to make the plug wires. When we build a car in the shop, we make them, and they're
sure,
exact, perfect. But this time I was like, just out of the box will be fine. Just give me the right box.
Yeah, that would help. That would help for sure. Oh man!
So that was a work stoppage setback.
A little bit. The worst part about a quick 20-minute project is the first 7 hours of it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. 100%.
Mm-hmm. And
then I realized that I should have listened to this show. I didn't pay attention to the Amazon fine print.
Oh, no.
On a set of O2 sensors.
Oh, brother.
So I ended up buying 4-wire oxygen sensors, and my car has 3-wire. It's the same plug and cross compatibility generally, but all right, so now we're going to find out what the difference is between a 3-wire and a 4-wire. And they're heated oxygen sensors, so when you turn the key, a circuit opens and starts heating them up. So that's 2 wires. The heat gets a power and a ground.
Sure.
Then there's a signal that actually goes to the ECM to say what the reading is. And then on a 4-wire, there's a separate ground for the signal as well.
Oh, I see.
A 3-wire grounds through the sensor body and through the exhaust. So
interesting. Okay.
So now I got these 2 sensors, and I'm thinking, well, I could put a pin in the harness and make a ground for the signal and run it back to the ECM. But that's going to add a lot more time.
Yeah, a little more complexity.
Yeah, so I ended up getting some 3-wires, Bosch sensors, and switched them out. So, but again,
that was the right move.
Those oxygen sensors were sitting on the shelf past the return window.
Of course they were. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny because we struggle with that at the shop. As far as when we're ordering parts, we don't want them to sit. We want to be able to have them when we need them, but we don't necessarily want them so far that they are past the return window if we end up, putting them on and there's something wrong with them. So yeah, that's definitely a dance that you got to contend with.
Yeah. So my lesson learned is that what I really need to do is pay a little more attention when ordering, and that would have maybe headed off the 351 Cleveland plug wire thing, because the part number clearly says Cleveland, and I just was blinded by the 351 part, right?
Sure. So
that would have been the first step. The second step is when those parts arrived, I should have looked at them that day and said,
right.
Yep, this is Cleveland, send it back.
Right.
And same with the O2 sensors. I should have paid more attention. And interestingly, I only noticed that it was a 3-wire versus 4-wire when I took my O2s out. And just because I'm a dork and kind of a nerd with documentation, I put both connectors in my hand and looked down the barrel of both of them and took a photograph, just because it's what I do. I photograph everything. And I blew it up, and I'm like, wait a minute, look in there. These are different configurations, right? So I went back and looked at the listing for that 4-wire, and I don't know that it actually said that it was a 4-wire. It might have, but it was way buried in there.
So let me back up here for a second. So the connector you have on your harness for your O2 sensors would have fit those 4-wire. Okay, and if you hadn't taken those photographs and you would have put those in, you would have had a nightmare on your hands trying to figure out why your car is either running so poorly or not starting at all.
Something would have happened, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And because it is interchangeable and you can throw them right in there, everything else is exactly the same. So, again, the way I do things, I scrutinize things, but at the wrong time, apparently. So,
but well, the point is you did catch that. Yeah, a little late, but not so late that it caused any poor running or God forbid any damage.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now I just got to figure out a way to rehome these oxygen sensors to somebody who needs them, because otherwise I'm out the money. That's just.
Well, I know a guy that goes to a lot of swap meets. Maybe you can throw them to him and.
Yeah, Mr. Brian Wibbenmeyer at our shop, but that's a weird thing, oxygen sensors at a swap meet. So this all turned into the next chapter, which is like, well, I could Facebook Marketplace my plug wires and my oxygen sensors, but I might as well just throw them out, for the amount of time I'm going to waste jerking around with the listing and unfortunately people that are not serious or, that's been my experience.
Right. Sure.
And then on top of that, it's like, well, maybe, in fact, I asked an AI system today, what's the best way to eBay parts in 2026 without having to get killed on fees and, all the rest of it. And it recommended some things I wasn't aware. I mean, eBay charges a listing fee, then there's a final assessed value fee, and then if you're a crappy eBayer, it throws another percentage on top of that if you don't respond your emails in certain times. It penalizes you for all that. So, there's ways to be as low as fee as possible, but I don't know. So I think the the strategy is going to be just work the efficiencies. So I'm going to go through the whole garage and find like a bunch of things that I don't need and line them all up and photograph them all at the same time and let AI help me write some descriptions and just get them all posted somewhere all at once. And that'll knock down a whole bunch of the time, just doing them bang, bang, bang. And then we'll see. I might start dropping the plug wires into a Facebook group of people that build Cleveland motors or, that kind of thing. Target them.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
These are all very valuable, car guy skill sets, by the way, to be able to rehome parts and.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, if you don't need them, somebody's going to want them, hopefully.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of finding the right person who wants it.
But I would say double check your documentation before you order and check the parts as best you can the minute they get in.
For sure.
Because there's other things that could have happened too. I mean, I could have bought any of this stuff and it could have been the wrong one in the box. Mm-hmm. And if I just did a casual glance, that oxygen sensor looks about right, that
right.
could have been it. But you gotta do the diligence or be prepared to deal with people on Facebook,
Yeah, they're still available. You still have it. Mm-hmm. And then crickets.
I'll give you $1.
Yeah.
I have all the money. I'm going to pay you all the money you're asking. And then they get there and it's, no, I'm going to give you $1.
Take $1 for it. Yeah. I drove all this way, dude. Come on.
Oh, God. Yes. I sold a car a couple of years ago and I had that one. This guy, first he's like, hey, I want the car. I go, great. He goes, take it off Facebook. I'm like, no. Well, no, I'm going to buy it. Take it off. No. I said, you either send me a whole bunch of money or it's staying on.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick, man. Now, hey. So he's like, all right, your asking price is fair. So I got all the money. I'm going to bring it to you. And then he shows up and he's like, oh, dude, I ain't paying all that. And I'm like, well, then you can go home.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
I know it's a good deal. I had to take a half a day off work and my kid's at daycare and I drove 40 miles. You know what? I feel
it's
for
your
you.
life, man, not mine.
I feel for you, but those are kind of your decisions. And we talked about this before you got here. I said, is this going to affect your life in a negative way to come here in any way? No, it's all great. I got all the money.
Yeah, people are nuts.
Some are.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
True. Amen, brother.
Yeah. So anyway, that was it took a little longer than expected, but here we are, and hopefully the car's ready for the springtime season.
Good deal.
You want to buy some plug wires? I think it's a 351 and Pontiac 400.
Pontiac 400 and Ford 351. Perfect fit. I'll take those 2 sensors off your hands, so how about that?
Cleveland's not far from Pontiac, Michigan.
That's, you know what? You're not wrong.
This past week was also kind of fun on the other side of the spectrum. I was at a SEMA Hot Rod Industry Alliance long-range planning meeting in Florida.
Ah, very cool. What are our long-range plans for the HRIA?
Well, the cool thing is there's some clarity on what the whole program is, right? So the HRA exists to help companies in the hot rod world be more successful through communication, culture, education, and events, right? So that's kind of the standard pitch. So it's only open to companies. So if you got a company in the business and you have to be a SEMA member, and if you're a SEMA member but in the hot rod world, you can join the HRA and bond together with other hot rod related companies. It's shops, it's manufacturers, it's media people, it's events, it's kind of all the above. And the goal is to kind of come together and be able to help each other out if you got problems and do things. And what we really did this time is land on some overarching principles that the SEMA Association itself is putting forward, and then seeing how the things that the HRIA does can support those, right? So one of the overarching kind of pillars of the SEMA Association is to enhance community and grow the industry. Makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot of things that we can do that have that nod of, yep, this is helping grow the industry, and it's supporting that, which is good. And many years ago, the SEMA Association had like a lot of different missions that they were trying to accomplish, and they've kind of streamlined down to basically 3 of them. I mean, the big one for them is advocacy, to make sure that it's still legal for us to have hot rods and to work on them and to make the parts. And of course, they're always concerned with the health of the association, to make sure that they can be effective, and then the community. So those kind of 3 pillars. So as we look at like what the HRIA does, it's like, let's just make sure that, hey, maybe we do some things that help spread the word on the advocacy, or help people get involved, or grow the community and whatnot. So much like your very general statement at the beginning of the show when I asked how you were doing, that elevator speech of the SEMA HRIA, we help through communication, education, events, and community, culture. It's like, okay, well, what does that really mean? What do you do?
Right.
And what the HRIA really does when it comes to education is they have several what they call Education Day seminars at a couple of events: Louisville, Street Rod Nationals, Good Guys Columbus, in which HRA member manufacturers have sessions for 90 minutes apiece on how to install certain products, and how to use them, and even how to sell them, and how to educate customers and how to use them. So like Vintage Air takes advantage of this all the time. They're a longtime HRIA member, and at those events you can sign up. It's free to go to if you're there as an attendee. You don't have to be in the association or anything. You can just be a person. And if you want to know everything there is to know, plus have Q&A time with the manufacturer, you can go sit in on that session. So these are very valuable, and they go all day. And there's a lot of them. So a bunch of different companies take advantage of them, and it's a great way to educate people and then eventually grow the business, right? So that's a specific.
Right.
They do a couple of builder roundtables. One is at the SEMA show. Another one was at the Grand National Roadster Show, where they have famous builders, and they can share their experiences, and it's a Q&A type panel, and people that are either just interested in it, or shop owners, or again manufacturers, whatever, can get time with the likes of Bobby Alloway and Foose and Troy Trepanier and even some up and coming builders. We always try to have people that you've never heard of before to share what it's like to try to get into the industry today, and how they're making it happen. So
cool.
Those are both examples of kind of on the education side. The communication side is of course, posting on social media about things that are important to the hot rod community. The Hammer Down podcast, which I produce and you help with as an HRIA member at large, which we appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
That is really nothing but helpful information, again, education, tips, how to do all kinds of stuff. We've had episodes that cover how to get into merchandising. You want to make T-shirts and stuff, to why join SEMA, and stories of builders, and everything in between. And
how to watch out for counterfeit products.
That was a great one. Yeah.
A huge one. That's a huge issue.
Yep.
That everybody should listen to that episode of the HRIA podcast to help avoid getting taken by counterfeit parts vendors.
Yeah, and that podcast is also consumer facing. It's not just for industry people. So
yeah.
There's that. And we got another episode coming pretty soon that is going to deal with product data, which I think is pretty cool because nobody knows anything about that generally.
Oh, good.
And the context there is that if you're a manufacturer, if you're a big one, you definitely need to know about this stuff, and probably do already, but who knows if it's enough. But if you're a shop or an individual who's got an idea to make something, right, and go into manufacturing, the online retailers, your Amazons, your Summits, your Motor State Distributing on a wholesale side, they all have requirements for the data that comes with your product. So it's like they need to know a variety of different images. They need to have a certain type of description format. They need to have weights. They need to have packaging sizes and all these things. And if you can't provide that, they can't list it and you can't sell it, right?
Right.
So SEMA has a whole division called SEMA Data that does this and a lot more. So that's going to be an interesting episode. So there.
Oh, good deal.
Another resource for helping the industry out. And then there's some other fun things that the HRIA does, and one of them is the feature vehicle program, which is at the SEMA show, where people can apply between now and kind of just before the SEMA show to have builders apply to have their vehicle on display in the HRIA booth or at the outdoor space right next to it. And if you're chosen to be one of the outdoor feature vehicles, that not only comes with that space, right in the center of the show, but we shoot a feature video on the car, and then the car gets moved into the Wednesday night HRA reception, which is kind of a mini banquet. When I say mini, it's 500 people, but it's not. It's the second most attended thing at SEMA.
Right on.
Which I'm fortunate to be able to MC that one, and we get the feature vehicles are there. There's 6 or 7 vehicles in the ballroom, and then we show the video of interviewing the builder, and it's just a great way to show off the car and get to know the builder, and everybody that you want to know in the industry is in that room on that Wednesday night. So again, your manufacturers that you're buying from and parts you're using, to builders and the media guys and event people, they're all there. So that strengthens the community, and it strengthens the awareness of the cars, and you get to see these hand-picked awesome cars and trucks that people are building out there. It's great.
Yeah, that is great. Dang, that's exciting.
Yeah, so these are all, and that's not everything, but these are just the big things that the HRA does. And it was nice to really just kind of put a fine point on that. So it wasn't like, we help the industry. Well, yeah, but here's how,
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I did not have any kind of frame of reference of how widespread the reach is that SEMA has in the industry until I actually became part of the industry.
Industry guy, my ass.
You know it. Nice. Oh, you've been waiting for that one. You had your mouth hovering over that one, like, come on, say it.
Maybe if we start talking about SEMA, he'll go there.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm going to call Ira. That's unbelievable. Nice. As I was saying, I don't even know what I was saying. No, but the reach that the influence that SEMA has on the industry through all of those subcommittees, all those sub programs is just, it's immense at how deeply entrenched it is with the industry. I mean, it practically is the industry. So it's great that it's out there for us.
Yeah. No, it really is. And it's cool once you get involved, because you get to meet people and work alongside people that you wouldn't have the chance to otherwise. And so, for example, in the HRA Select Committee, which is who is in this meeting, you've got an individual from whose day job works at Blueprint Engines, another one at Hushmat and Zycoat, another one who's got a shop, another one who's got another hot rod shop in the Pacific Northwest, a guy who just started a car finding business and show car management stuff, a person who runs a museum, another dude who does manufacturing of hot rod parts, so it's a widespread cross section of the industry, and now we all get together and chat about how to put these programs in motion and let people know about them and maximize the value to the members. And it's great because the byproduct is, you make friends that work in other areas of the industry, and now you've got this common bond, and we've all got some of the same challenges, and there's a personal learning experience along the way too. So it's really cool. That was a fun experience. A lot of great stuff coming in that direction. And there's a gentleman who actually runs the SEMA show. His name is Tom Gattuso, and Tom said it best, I think, because people, and we've talked about this here too, the SEMA show, they think it's, a lot of people think it's a car show. A lot of people think it's just a trade event. Some people think it's a circus. Everybody has their own opinion. But what Tom defined it as, in the most simple, basic terms, he said the SEMA show, and kind of ultimately the SEMA Association, but the SEMA show is a mirror. It's just a big mirror that you hold up, and it reflects the industry. So whatever's happening in the industry is going to happen at the SEMA show. So if you see things that that are happening in the industry in four-wheel drive or in government advocacy or in interior electronic modifications, if it's at the show, it's happening out in the world, and of course there's a flip side. If there's things that are happening at the show that you don't dig, well, it's because they're happening out in the world too. Same thing. You have to figure out a way to maybe address those. But
right on. Yeah, for sure. I like that analogy.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. And one of the kind of the neat things at this meeting, so another gentleman just joined the select committee, Zach Straits, good friend of ours.
Yeah, good guy.
Zach is a good dude. I met him just being out at events and many years ago. And Zach was always interesting because he his day job was a lumber salesman. He was in the home building industry, but just a super passionate car guy, and got so deep into cars that he actually restored a couple cars for George Poteet.
Yeah, he sure did.
Zach has records at Bonneville on the Salt Flats, thanks to our friends at Jessel that built the pickup truck that a lot of people have had the fortune to drive, including Zach. And he just retired out of the home building industry and he started a car business called Dream Car Connection, to where he's helping people find their dream car, and he'll concierge that process, and he'll work with a builder if you need it restored, and he'll work with getting cars to shows and events and transport and all that stuff. So he's kind of like, a good guy to know if you're going to be involved in all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But one of the things that Zach brought to the table is, back at the Home Building Association, or in that industry, he was part of the Home Building Association. So kind of the SEMA of the home building world.
I got you. So he knows what the deal is.
Oh boy, does he ever. And it was really cool to get his perspective, because SEMA has over 7,000 member companies. It's a big association.
Jeez.
Yeah, the Home Builders Association had over 140,000.
Holy cats.
Well, everybody has a home. That's what he said.
Everybody has a home. Not everybody has a cool hot rod.
Right. So when it comes to like working in an association and getting the messaging out there and doing things that help people understand like what the reason to join and what they can do for you, he's all over that. So he brought a lot of those great points to the meeting, and it was cool. So yeah, very, very valuable to be part of, and the values trickling out to the members to take advantage of. And even a small business, if you are a SEMA member, which depending on how many people are in your company, I guess is how they do that. It could be just a couple $100, and then to join the HRA is $100 to get involved. And I tell you what, if somebody told me 30 years ago that for an extra $100 I could be in that room at the HRA reception in Vegas, the ticket price alone is worth more than $100.
It is 100%.
To be able to rub elbows and meet and network with all your hot rod heroes. I mean, come on, take my money. So,
yep, all day long.
Yeah.
Yep. Heck of a benefit
for sure. Yeah, plus all the rest of it. So I'm not here to sell it, but I believe the value. I think it's a good thing to do. So.
Yeah, I do too, and that's why I wanted to, get a little deeper involved with this, and do more for the HRIA and just the industry in general.
Yeah,
and really be an industry guy.
Right. Because you are
industry guy, my ass.
There he is. There he is. Oh my gosh, I'm getting slap happy here.
Yeah. So we did allude very quickly to the fact we don't really have much of a GTO update at this point.
Nope, we have zero update.
But
I got nothing for you, unfortunately.
We certainly will when the time comes, right?
Yes, we will when the time comes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to, speaking of the Suburban from earlier, I have to get that transmission rebuilt, so that's going to take up some of those resources that I was earmarking for the GTO. So
that's where we've landed, that it is a rebuild.
Yeah, it's a rebuild. I have to we have our place by the shop that does it, and I'm going to have them do it the next time I'm down. And that's where you get involved. So one of you or your lovely wife might have to be my chauffeur while I'm down there.
With pleasure.
So thank you. Appreciate that.
I'll even put on a hat and some gloves or something.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to tip you.
Don't drink the water.
Ostie, I need to be picked up. Ostie.
So that's, you have to understand that is a little bit of a gamble, what you just laid out.
It is. I'm, praying for no whammies on the drive down.
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying just dropping off the truck and saying, okay, rebuild this. You got 3 days.
Well, I called them already and tried to kind of make pre-arrangements and let them know what my situation is. Mm-hmm. And they said, just about a week before you come back down, give us a call, and we'll get it worked out. So
they're a good shop.
I might be down there a few more days extra, and that's fine. I'll just have to deal with it. I'll pack for it and all that.
Okay, so are they going to pull it and rebuild it and put it back in?
Yes.
Is there any opportunity for them to build one now and have it waiting and just swap them?
Well, they did say they had one in stock, so that might be what they do, is just swap them out.
Yeah, I would hopefully go for that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when I call them again, I'll verify, I'll clarify exactly, figure out what they have and what they're going to do.
Because your luck's like mine.
Get a better timeline.
And you're going to have the 4-wire oxygen sensor in your transmission. And it's going to be 3 months of the thing on the bench. And that's a long walk,
It is.
I can only drive you so much.
It's a long walk.
18th of the month, I'll be up in your neighborhood, but you don't want to, next month, you don't want to be here that long.
Yeah. Believe it or not, my wife may miss me.
Yeah, of course you will. Mm-hmm. Kids, not so much, but your wife, yeah.
No. As long as the money keeps flowing, they're happy. As long as there's, online banking, they love me.
That's right. Well, good. Yeah. Hopefully that goes smoothly. I'm sure it will. Like I said, that's a good trans shop, and we trust them with all kinds of stuff. And
we sure do.
It's only the real oddball stuff that they don't do, which they're quick to say, "Hey, that's out of the wheelhouse." And I appreciate that more than sure. We'll try.
Yes. Agreed. Yeah, they're not big fans of the 204R transmission.
No, they're not, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it is. They're like, you don't want to build that. You want to do this, that, the other, not that. Like, all right, buddy. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But their pricing is very reasonable, way better than what I would get up here, or otherwise I would just have it done up here. But the savings is significant.
Well, good.
So, yeah, that's a big plus. And plus, it's a shop that we use, that we trust, so I trust them.
Yep.
So,
well, right on.
That helps. Yeah, man. So,
all right.
Hopefully it gets done right the first time, and it doesn't fall out on the drive home.
No, I wouldn't think that. I wouldn't think there'd be. I think the only risky part is that they have the parts in that time window. That's to me is the number one thing. And like the beginning of this episode, having the right parts at the right time. That's the goal. Mm-hmm. And it seems to be, a challenge everywhere. So.
Yep.
You know what else is a challenge?
The answers to our trivia questions.
Wow, that's a great point. Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy. What a segue.
How about that?
You're the master of that. All right, Kevin. So I asked you about the Zimmer Quicksilver.
Oh, yes.
And what car was it based on? And you said that was based on the Pontiac Fiero. And congratulations, Mr. Kevin. You are 100% correct.
Ding, ding,
it was based on the... Yeah, too bad you don't have the Price is Right sound effect right there on the ready.
My head's still ringing from last time.
Well, I recut it, so it's a lot quieter now. But yeah, the Zimmer Quicksilver was based on the 86 through 88 Pontiac Fiero. It was the front end was stretched by 16 inches between the front wheel and the A-pillar, and 13 inches behind the rear wheel. All for a 2-seater interior that was still stock, like a Fiero interior, for the low price of $51,950.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah,
that's a big Fiero.
And that's why they didn't sell a whole lot of them.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I'm guessing that you had that Fiero on the brain because the one we have in our shop.
Yeah, that's a nice car. The 88 Fiero GT.
Yeah.
Very nice.
With 10,000 miles on it.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's like brand new.
Yeah, it really, really is.
Yeah, so this, we have a really good customer. We're working on a full build right now. This is the third car that we're doing for him, and he called and said, hey, I want this Fiero. So it's number 4, which is wonderful. But he doesn't want to do a lot to the Fiero, which I don't really blame him, because his car is it's very new, like I said. And it's interesting because it's a GT and it's a manual, and for 88 they redid the suspension on those so that they actually handle well and all that stuff. And then they killed it right away, right after.
Yeah.
But it's got the basket weave Fiero GT wheels, but they're painted black. And the car is black. And the GT waffle spoke wheel was supposed to be gold. And the Fiero Formula had the black wheels.
Gotcha.
And so we were kind of debating because the finish is peeling off his wheels because somebody just painted them black and there's gold is underneath. And we're like, ooh, yeah, you should go back to the gold, but I think he's going to keep the black. We're going to reshoot him, or we're going to have a shop repowder coat him. But other than that, I think we're just doing some tune-up stuff on that car and sending it. So
yeah, just going through it, making sure everything is cool and everything is as it should be.
Yeah.
So,
we're not extending it by 16 inches in the front and 13 in the back.
No, we're not going to do any stretching.
So he can relax.
Yeah, that Quicksilver was, God, when I saw it, I'm like, that is an unfortunate looking car. I did not care for that at all.
The front doesn't bother me so much. I think the nose angle kind of matches the windshield, and it's got kind of that chrome thing that seems to fit okay. The back I'm not so fond of.
Yeah. And it still had pop-up headlights too, which looked even stupider when the headlights were up.
And they're like back halfway up the fender too, because they're before the extension.
I think so. No, actually, I think they're forward of that, but there's still the pop-up Fiero headlights.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't like it. Not a fan.
Well, speaking of not a fan of popped up headlights, I recently saw that a picture of the Grease Lightning movie car.
Yeah.
That is the most awful thing in the world.
It's not a good-looking car, is it?
No, it is not. It's horrible. And so, not today, but a future episode, we're going to touch on cars that we may have perceived to be kind of cool, but with a critical eye, are disgusting. And that,
right on.
And that's one of them. And really,
when it's automatic, it's hydromatic.
Yeah.
It's grease lightning.
Really, the fantasy version is the one that's like the worst. When in the whatever the part of the movie was where it's red and it's
they're like that dream sequence kind of a thing.
That's like. Yeah. And I don't know if it was like super George Barris having, some kind of Quaalude addiction and a stroke at the same time.
Maybe.
I don't know what it was, but
had that plexiglass hood coming down, and as the engine was descending into it, the fan is turning.
Of course. Now that was cool though. Yeah. I did think that was kind of neat. But the rest of it kind of blows.
Yeah, but the car itself was pretty gaudy looking. Yeah.
So start making a list. We'll go over.
Okay.
Movie cars that and other, not just other famous vehicles that that aren't what they cracked up to be. All right, so
the Corvette summer car is automatically disqualified just because it is that heinous.
I kind of dig it. We'll get there.
No, come on.
We'll get there on that episode.
Oh, God bless America. Oh, man.
Oh, man. All right, my question to you was, when was the first steering wheel installed in a car? Bonus, what car and what country? And your answer was the 1910 Pierce Arrow from the good old U.S. of A. And I got to tell you, the reason why this question kind of came up is on our SEMA excursion offsite meeting. We were in Fort Myers, Florida, and as a group, we took a tour of the Thomas Edison home, the winter home in Fort Myers, which was also split with Henry Ford.
Yeah.
So you ever been there?
I have not. I would like to go there, though.
It's
sometime.
Cool. I was there on a family, on like the last family vacation we took in 1987.
Oh, boy.
Drove the first van down there.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
And I remember kind of seeing what I wanted to see and getting burned out. And my mom was like, "No, we got to go look at this now." And it's like, all right,
Okay, Mom.
Yeah. So there's a picture of my mom or my sister, my dad, and I all looking not amused. I'll make that the episode image for this one.
Awesome.
And I'm wearing this, this acid-washed denim blue jeans and jean jacket from 1987,
and the episode title will be "Just Plugging Away."
That's it. Yeah, doing my thing.
Doing my thing.
Plugging away. But this time we really enjoyed it because I'm not the same idiot I was back then, and got to learn a lot about some of the stuff that Henry Ford was doing back then, and
cool.
And so I got to see images. They don't have it there, but images of the original Henry Ford quadricycle, his first car, so to speak. And it had a tiller, a steering tiller. And I went, interesting. Right. I wonder when. So that's what prompted this question. So the correct answer, actually, is that the first steering wheel used in a car debuted in 1894.
Wow. Come on.
And it was installed by a French engineer named Alfred Vacheron in his Panhard et Levasseur, which was for the world's first automobile race.
Ooh.
Another trivia question.
Won by the Duryea brothers?
No, I don't know. It was run from Paris to Rouen, wherever that is, 78 mile in Europe. So before, I don't think Duryea attended that one.
Duryea was in the U.S.
Yes, in the U.S.
First car in the first race in the U.S. Yeah.
So most of them had tillers or handlebars and cranks and whatnot. But that auto manufacturer is a French company. They made them standard equipment by 1898, and the next expansion was Charles Rolls.
Oh,
of Rolls and Royce.
Yeah,
or Royce and Rolls.
Interesting.
You ever see a guy with a Rolls Royce and ask him how his Royce Rolls is?
No, I have not.
That. That's fun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's great. That'll go over as well as talking to a Mustang 2 owner and saying, "Hey, nice Pinto."
Ooh, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, you're only off by a few years.
A couple of years, 15 years.
Yeah, it could be worse.
16 years. It's all right.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, that's practically a win. So, Yardley, write it down.
Well, and another shout out to our friend Yardley and his lovely wife for tuning in and enjoying our show and sending us texts along the way while they're yelling at the radio about the trivia questions and our bad decisions.
Right.
Appreciate that.
Right. And the dirty looks his wife shoots him sometimes because of the things we say.
Well, that was so funny, by the way.
Yeah.
Because in our previous episode, when we were talking about the modifications made to a car that are maybe misunderstood by other people in the family, and we mentioned the significant other coming through the garage saying, "Hey, you spent all this money on this car. Why does it shake and make noise?" And he said at that moment, his wife looked at him like, So sorry.
Sorry, Arch.
Yeah, but our show is steeped in truth, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. It is, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that was a good question. I liked it.
Yeah. Glad you enjoyed that one. All right. Well, this has been yet another fun episode. Kind of went by fast, so I appreciate tuning in and sharing the time. Again, a future episode might have some stuff about movie cars and other nonsense. Always have a lot of that to spare. Any final thoughts before we return control of people's devices to them?
Before we return control. Golly. Just keep your cars on the road, man. Just keep plugging away, doing your thing.
That's it. Well, hopefully I plugged away and did some things, and my car stays on the road. So I'll take that well wish. Hopefully we have a positive story about the transmission rebuild next time too, and that's probably going to be a couple episodes down. All right, well, this has been the V8 Radio Podcast. If you like this, smash away on that subscribe button. Check out our socials. There's a fun page on Facebook, and there is a YouTube feed of this. It doesn't do very well, but if you want to look at a still image and listen to us, you can do that on YouTube. That's fun.
Awesome.
Of course, Spotify and Apple and all the rest of the places that you want to listen to, we're there. The Facebook page, leave comments. We're always happy to eventually discover them and respond. And if you need anything done on a hot rod or muscle car or custom, even a cool truck, you can always find the shop, V8 Speed, and Resto Shop at v8speedshop.com.
We had somebody contact the shop who said he listens to the show. It was about an engine issue. He was thinking about maybe having an engine rebuilt. And I called him back, and I said, "Hey, this is Mike Cueball Clark from the V8 Speed and Resto Shop." And he says, "You sound a little different on the phone than you do on the radio."
Nice.
I'm like,
I'm like,
yep.
The old Buford D. Justice. You sounded much taller on the radio.
Taller on the radio.
All right, well, now's your chance. Give the Q a call.
There you go.
All right. Well, for Mr. Mike Cueball Clark, I'm your host, Kevin Oeste, reminding you to keep the shiny side up, keep it under 100, and
the V8 Radio Podcast, hosted by award-winning GTO driver and recognized industry guy Mike Cueball Clark. Oh yeah, and Kevin Oeste.
Oh yeah. Oh man, my God. You and we're going to have words after this.
All right. Well, that's all I got. See you next time on VA Radio.